Hello everyone. So today I'm going to read a beautiful story of a beautiful princess named Cindrella. So now you know the name of the story, Cindrella. So let's start it. Once upon a time, there lived a pretty and docile girl called Cindrella. She lived with a wicked stepmother and two jealous stepsisters, who made her do the household work endlessly and treated her like a slave. Cinderella, however, carried out all the duties with a whimper while her hapless father just suffered silently. One day, the town carrier announced an open invitation from the king to all the people of the kingdom for the royal ball so that the prince could find a bride. The stepmother and her daughters made elaborate preparations to go to the ball. While leaving, they said, Cinderella, finish doing the dishes and washing before we return. Poor Cinderella! She sobbed her heart out as she tried to complete the household chores one after another. Suddenly, a fairy appeared and said, Child, do you wish to go to the ball? Wiping her tears, Cinderella said, Yes, but how can I go in these ragged clothes? The fairy said, Get a pumpkin and seven mice. Confused Cinderella simply obeyed the fairy's order. With a wave of her magic wand, the fairy changed the pumpkin into a glittering coach, six mice into white horses, the seventh mouse into a liveried coachman, and Cinderella's rags into an exquisite gown and dainty glass shoes. Before Cinderella left, the fairy warned her, Remember to return home on time as my spell will end at 12 midnight. Everything will change to its original form then. Cinderella reached the palace in style. She was the center of attraction. As the prince danced innumerable rounds with her, he fell in love with her. Her stepmother and stepsisters were green with envy. Suddenly, Cinderella heard the first stroke of midnight. She remembered the fairy's warning. Pulling herself away from the prince, she dashed out of the ballroom and ran down the steps. As she did so, one of her glass shoes slipped off her tiny feet. The prince ran after Cinderella, but she vanished in the blink of an eye. The prince told the ministers, Find the girl whose foot fits his this dainty shoe. The town crier announced that the girl who lost her shoe would be identified soon, and she would be the prince's bride. All the girls in the kingdom eagerly tried on the shoe, but it was in vain. Cinderella's stepmother told her daughters, Grab this opportunity. Even if you have to cram your foot into that shoe. However, the girl's feet were too large. The ministers then asked the stepmother, Are you sure there are no more girls in your house? The stepmother reluctantly called out Cinderella even as she kept muttering, How can such a dainty shoe fit a servant's foot? However, they were all dumbfounded when Cinderella's foot eased into the shoe comfortably. The ministers requested the stepmother to send Cinderella to the palace with them. The jealous mother and daughters had no choice. Cinderella married the prince and lived in the palace happily ever after. So, do tell me one answer of the question. Uh, how many stepsisters were there of Cinderella? Thank you.